Hi, this is Christina of coachingwithchristina.com.
And I'm Steven Inghram. I'm a teacher and musician and yogi.
And we're going to talk today about meditation. And specifically, I really wanted to address why meditation is so important for highly sensitive people. As I've been on this journey discovering how I'm a highly sensitive person, I've been noticing how much meditation is so valuable for me. I find it so grounding, and I took some meditation classes with Stephen, and they were the classes that I took were focused on experiencing joy and finding equanimity. And we've also talked a lot about focusing on sensation in meditation. And I think that's so important because as a highly sensitive person, we have so much sensory stimulation coming in, and it becomes so important to really just feel that and not be shutting it out, not going numb to it, but yet not letting it overwhelm us either. So I think it's a really important practice to get comfortable feeling and really sitting with the sensations and becoming empowered by them and not having them control us so much. So I would really love if you could share a little bit more about that and about the Four Radiant Abodes, which you were
Right.
talking about during the class that I took with you.
So in February, I taught a class called the Four Radiant Abodes, or as it's known in the Buddhist culture, it's the Brahma Viharas. And what those are loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. I was actually today working with a group of youth talking about kind of living above the line. So what that means is that we are choosing to live in a loving way, in a kind way, in a compassionate way, versus the reactionary lifestyle or the reactionary culture that we all live in.
So hard.
Yeah. And it is very hard. We all, we have our iPhones or, our smartphones, and we constantly want to email that person or text that person back. But when we come into meditation, we learn that there's so much going on inside of us, and we can honor those reactions with loving kindness and with compassion. The last Brahma Vihara is equanimity, and the three prior to that, loving kindness, compassion, and joy, all kind of, I don't really want to use the word culminate, because this practice isn't a destination. The journey is the destination.
I love
The
that.
path of
Yeah.
this practice is the destination. We don't, kind of when we talk about equanimity, that's not the end all be all. That can happen in any moment of our life. But what we can do is choose to be with our experience. And there's a practice of meditation called Vipassana meditation, and that, sorry, my throat's dry.
It's okay.
That form of meditation means insight meditation. And that's simply just being with your experience, which is a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah, and that's why I had a really amazing experience in the first meditation class I took with Stephen, because I am somebody who is go, go, go all the time, and I really have to make a very conscious effort to center myself, because I think it's harder for me than for most people, especially when you're highly sensitive and you have so much coming in and you're so busy. It's very hard to consciously center. And so having that space and that container and having a structured, practice with other people and with a teacher is so helpful, because it kind of gives you permission to go, okay, this is my time to do this, without feeling guilty or distracted.
Right. So, as Christina alluded to, we all live in kind of this, as I mentioned before, this reactionary environment where we are constantly stimulated by technology and constantly stimulated by just our surroundings. This practice offers us the opportunity to kind of ground ourselves in the present moment, which is, that's just so beautiful. That's so
It was good.
freeing. Um, so there's a word in the Pali language, which was the language spoken in the time of the Buddha. There's a word called sati, S-A-T-I, and we translate that word in English as mindfulness, but it actually more so can be translated as remembrance. So there's two qualities of
Interesting.
there's two qualities of mindfulness, two qualities of sati. The first quality of it is the present moment experience, which I think largely is, our culture knows about. But the second part of that, of sati, is remembrance. I had a teacher say to me in a retreat that I was taking, the teacher's name is Sharon Salzberg, and I don't know if this was directly a quote for her or from one of her colleague teachers, but they said it's easy to be mindful, but it's hard to remember to be mindful.
I agree with that. I almost feel like I get so caught up in just day-to-day living, and I forget that I can come back to that and how amazing it feels, and it's almost hard to. And I think I actually wrote a poem that was something like that, about coming back to it, forgetting, coming back, forgetting, and coming back to it. So I think that's absolutely explains the experience.
Right. So as we, the Brahma Viharas can offer us kind of this gift of coming back to ourselves, and just breathing.
Yep.
Taking a breath.
Forget to do that too. Deeply enough anyway.
Yeah. And kind of, that's such a gift to us in this stimulating environment that we live in. So we can, there's a practice also that kind of is, that kind of goes side by side with Vipassana or insight meditation. That's called metta, M-E-T-T-A, meditation. In the Pali language, it translates as loving kindness, which is one of the four Brahma Viharas, the Four Radiant Abodes. The other thing that I wanted to mention was, sorry, I didn't mean to point my finger at you. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that that loving kindness is, we can offer loving kindness to ourselves, but ultimately the word abode means a place of dwelling, so that we dwell in this place of loving kindness, of compassion and joy. So it's a visceral feeling within our bodies that we can feel that there's this place in us that is a place that we can rest and feel peace.
So that's what you're alluding to with the Four Radiant Abodes,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That these four abodes are places that we want to cultivate as dwelling within us.
Right.
I really love that, because I've been thinking a lot about that lately and reading Wayne Dwyer's latest book. And he talks a lot about how in his own life, how he, was able to cultivate that space no matter what was going on outside of himself. And it's tough, but it's a beautiful, transcendent thing to practice.
Definitely. So could you maybe talk about, in your experience in the class as a person that's highly sensitive, how meditation, how that experience was for you, just in general, as a highly sensitive person? How was that experience for you?
Sure. Oh gosh. What I really loved about it was the focus of that first class I took with you was on one of the radiant abodes, which is kindness. Joy. Wasn't it joy?
No, it was loving. The first one was loving kindness. Oh,
but
you didn't come to the first.
I
I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Did you come to the second class?
No, it was joy.
Okay, it was joy. My bad.
It was joy, which was great because, I think that joy is so important, and that's not something that we normally, think about pursuing joy necessarily. We get caught up with very tangible goals like, making more money or, finding love or, curing health problems, and we don't think about just going out and finding a way to cultivate more joy. And it was really wonderful to just, be in a room full of people that were also meditating and there that day to find, peace, relaxation, joy. And, I was able to give myself permission to just let go of everything else, leave it outside of the room, focus on my breathing. And I really did have a very transcendental experience in that class. I almost felt like crying, and for a couple of hours afterwards, I just felt so present, so grounded. Just everything felt much more vivid. Like that's one of the things, when you're like a highly sensitive person and you do allow your sensations to be felt, everything will feel more vivid for you. And your emotions will come up, and it feels almost silly. I'm like, oh my God, I hope nobody sees me like crying in this class, but it happens, when you're a really emotional person, and it's really awesome to allow yourself to have that experience without any judgment.
Right. It provides you that space to open up, which, all this stimulation that we have is just, it closes us. In the class that I was teaching this morning, we were talking about having choice versus reaction. As I think I may have mentioned it earlier. And it's it's so important that we can live and just be with our experience, no matter what the experience is. We all kind of, even in the yoga community and in the meditation community, and in other spiritual communities, we sometimes make it about the destination. And it's really, this practice is about just being with the experience as it is, not trying to change it, not trying to do anything with it, just be mindful of it. I've kind of learned that mindfulness is kind of like a radar beam that you can, kind of like sonar in the ocean, that you can just notice each spot that you feel your heart beating, you feel you feel that you're thinking, you feel sensations in your body. So it really is kind of a radically different approach to life than we take in our everyday lives as a culture, as a Western culture, I should say.
Can you say what the Four Radiant Abodes are for people who don't know?
Yes. So the Four Radiant Abodes are loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And you can use the traditional phrases for loving kindness, and you can see this in the table that we'll post with this video. The traditional phrases of loving kindness when you're sitting in meditation they're not in any particular order. This is just the way that I'm saying them in this moment. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I live at ease and with freedom. And may I be free from inward and outward harm. So those are just some of the phrases that can help you cultivate loving kindness within yourself. And then the thing about the Four Radiant Abodes is that as we begin to open up ourselves, we can begin offering loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity as a gift to the world in this boundless way that, all beings in the universe, whether they be animals or humans or other living things in the universe, can all feel this sense of the Four Radiant Abodes in this boundless. I mean, that's really just so freeing to think about.
It's soothing. I found it very soothing to meditate on those questions.
Yeah. So that's all I have about that.
Yeah. Me too. Just wanted to make the point for anybody out there who feels that, if you're a highly sensitive or emotional person, this could be a great way to get in touch with your emotions and your sensitivity and, allow it to become empowering and really connect with it and have a relationship with it and be present with it rather than becoming numb or becoming overwhelmed.
Right. And that was another point that I wanted to make, is that meditation does really open us up and really does cause us to be sensitive.
Makes you more sensitive.
It makes you more sensitive.
That makes sense.
Which is a really awesome thing. And that's not something that our society says is right or says
true.
is,
So true.
It's such a wonderful experience to be able to feel what you're feeling. There's no need to get rid of it. There's no need to push it away. It is what it is in this moment. There's no need to change it. There's no need to react to it. There's no need to judge it. Just be with it and, see what can open up and what can manifest in that moment, you know?
Absolutely. Well, anything
Cool.
else?
I think that's all I
Okay.
have to say.
All right. Well, so if you'd like to, check out the blog post that's going to have the table of the Four Radiant Abodes, you can get that at coachingwithchristina.com. And I also have a free ebook there. It's called Manifest Your Best Life, 5 Powerful Tools. And in that book, I talk about some of these meditative type techniques, but more of like in a law of attraction, manifesting kind of way. So it's kind of, we were talking a lot about just being present right now, and this is about taking that presence and seeing if you can direct it.
Yeah.
And you have a website.
I do have a website. It's just my name, so it's easy. But it's steveninghram.com. So you know what? I won't spell my name out, but we'll post a link to both of our websites.
Yeah.
And then you can check out what I'm doing. You can check out what Christina's doing.
He has a mailing list too.
I do have a mailing list.
Sign up for that
It's
too.
on the homepage of my website. It says monthly music and yoga e-news, and then there's a little MailChimp subscription form that you can fill out, and then I'll get notified and you can be on my mailing list.
Yes, so please stay in touch with us, and we'll be making some more videos, so.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So there's a saying that we, in yoga, I forgot to.
Oh.
There's a saying in yoga that I thought would be nice to end with. If you're not familiar to yoga, maybe this is new to you. But we say, the light, love, and peace that is within me honors the light, love, and peace that was within you. So we can bow to one another and say namaste.
Okay.
So have an awesome day, everyone.